How's it going, everyone? My name is SlothFang. Give me fuel, give me fire, give me a TierMaker ranking list of all the Metallica albums that I can do. Love Metallica. I've seen them twice on the Hardwired Self-Destruct tour. I've actually got two of their shirts. That, and then I've got that's the the convoluted head, and then I've got the actual Hardwired Self-Destruct shirt. Yeah. I've been a fan for as long as I've been alive, really. My dad, got me hooked with the Black Album, Enter Sandman, Through the Never, such a great. And since then, I've listened to all the albums on repeat, excuse me. Links up here if you want to actually make the list yourself. I'm ranking on S, A, B, C, never listened, and then the albums. This is just here to make it easier to reach. We're going to go chronologically from release to most recent. But yeah, I went through St. Louis and then with my father-in-law, and that was when I actually won pit tickets. I won the contest for that, and I was blown away. I was surprised by that. Super exciting. And then I flew over to Raleigh with my buddy Watson, and I took him. We had floor. We were like 10 feet away from the stage. And then went back to my first Metallica concert. That was we were in the pit. We were like a couple feet away, if that. Super amazing experience. They really are the best band I've lost count of how many concerts I've been to, how many bands I've been to, festivals and whatnot. Metallica puts on the best show, hands down. More like hands up, horns up, am I right? And so the albums are great, but this is an experience you really can't beat on that. So first up, we have Metallica's Kill 'Em All. I think it was their first album. I think it's a great album. It ranks up there, A, hands down. Seek and Destroy, just classic. Everyone knows it. Whiplash. Then we have Ride the Lightning. I think it's also A. It's lower than Kill 'Em All. It's a great album, but you do have there's one song on there, I can't think of it at the top of my head, but it's a song that the studio was like, hey, we need one more. It's not Trapped Under Ice, it's the other one, but you can tell it's still Metallica, but they were forced to hey, we need one more track on this out of everything, and a bunch of stuff else happened, and it really pissed them off. Then we have the infamous greatest thrash album, if not the greatest album of all time, Master of Puppets. That is S tier, hands down. S tier, phenomenal. You really can't beat that. I mean, everything. The Thing That Should Not Be, A Welcome Home Sanitarium, Master of Puppets, Battery. I have to stop myself from listening every track on this album, because if I listed them all and then everything I love about it, it would just be too much. I actually did a speech in my I forget what it was like. Not debate. It was like speech class, but it was like, so you have different styles of speeches to produce for the class, and I did half of mine were about Metallica, just because of how influenced and enthralled I was by the band. Just overall, just unbelievable. But yeah, Master of Puppets really set the stage and then burned it all down. One, of course, is a great track, and so Injustice for All is up here. And Justice for All, Harvester of Sorrow. They went into the most progressive metal genre possible. The technical aspect of their concerts, the tours, literally was breaking them down to the point where they had to stop and they had to, okay, let's bring it back. So you enter Bob Rock. With that, they redefine themselves into a more, okay, who are we? Okay, let's take that live sound, bring it into the studio, put that all there, and really, overcharge it into this big, energetic album. Classic. It's that's when Metallica sold out. And to quote Kirk Hammett, yeah, we sell out. We sell out every seat in every stadium for every tour, and that's true. At both concerts I went to, it was packed. There was not a seat left. Just the floor was packed to the point where if you left to go use the restroom at any point and you came back, they had to hold on, and they had a certain count. There was a fire marshal code enacted constantly. Normally you have, we can only have so many 100,000 people or whatever. This was all right, 2 in, 2 out. Sorry, you gotta wait. Oh, someone left. Okay, now you can come in, and yeah, it was insane both times. Such a great experience. But they have so many classic songs that are on the Black Album, the self-titled, whatever you want to call it. Sad But True, Holier Than Thou, Enter Sandman, Wherever I May Roam. I mean, again, this is another album that is phenomenal. I actually will put it I'll put it third, just because Injustice for All has that solid sound. There is, of course, the bass issue, but that's part of the sound, part of that moment of the band of history. So you really can't take away from that, but you could. Master Puppets is phenomenal. That'd probably be the only thing down about Injustice for All, is how they James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich both masterboard mixed the bass way down low so that they were prominently heard. When I'm like, really, you're toning down your whole band sound, but okay. Then we have Load and Reload. Load and Reload are a step down. It's them, but they're on the brink of it's turmoil, and it sounds like the band's going to fall apart. Like they're starting to self-implode. It hasn't happened yet, but it's about to. Then you have Metallica's Garage Inc. So many different covers. I mean, when a band starts out, the big thing is that they are a cover band while still, defining their sound. But they have a cover band that kind of shows, hey, here's who we are inspired by. We find creatively similar. There are founding fathers, if you will. And there's a lot of stuff from Merciful Fate, Black Sabbath. Who did the Bread song? Budgie is another one. All these classic, like new wave of British heavy metal. Before that, genre defining, if not core defining bands. Sabbath, Black Sabbath, amazing, and they're one of the few people who can do Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath on the album Black Sabbath. It's electric. And then we have Saint Anger. The band is literally falling apart, but it's caught in the middle between Load and Reload. It's tough. I could easily swap Load and Reload. B is I could listen to, but it has maybe 2 or 3 songs that I could listen on repeat. I'm trying to think. There's a song on Load and Reload, both that stick out. But everything's repetitive. It's got that that earworm. That's it. In all of it. And Saint Anger, the only downside a lot of people quote is the drums, but I found that it's part of the charm of the album. That Saint Anger, Around My Neck, the band is falling apart. They're creating an album and they're doing all these different things. They're at Saint Anger, Some Kind of Monster, the film documentary about them and the band. They're oh, we don't want to show this is the band. No, it's no, show your fans who you really are. Show all this, and the infighting and the alcoholism, the addictions, the divorces, all this and more. And you have Rob Trujillo, who's the current long-standing bassist, brought in, and him replacing Jason Newsted, who replaced Cliff Burton after Cliff Burton's passing. And it's just, man, the band manages to stand its ground and continue. Same thing for Leonard Skinner. This tragedy, and yet they, from the ashes, continue on. Metallica loses their long time, best friends and bassist, and they still carry on. You have Death Magnetic. Despite the issues with the fact of what happens with the sound mixing, the loudness war, and you can listen to, there's 4 examples of this. The original released, the live EP re-release that includes the studio tracks. I think Beyond Magnetic has that fixed. And then there's a version of Guitar Hero, and then I always forget the 4th version of it. But you can hear the difference. And around the same time was Chinese Democracy also had this, you can tell the overcompression, and someone I knew was oh no, the album's fine, it's great, what are you? I'm no, watch this video. And it was a 15-minute video, and it breaks down the different versions and it shows you here's what happens if that. And it was a producer who, phenomenal, I think Rick Rubin is it, but he was known for overcompressing these certain aspects. And you could argue, well, that's part of the album, that's the same thing of, that's hypocritical if you're criticizing that, but the drum snare on snare sound on Saint Anger, or the lack of bass on Injustice for All, I'm there's a difference between the artists themselves and someone mixing in and oh, that sounds good, but if you fix it It sounds so much better. So much better. But overall, Death Magnetic, that was a tour my dad went to, but he didn't take me because it was a school night. I was in high school, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? But, you know, bygones be bygones. Yeah, that would have been a cool to see, because they had the coffin spinning in the air and all that. Now they have like these, we're not doing stadium tours where it's the giant walls with the lights that they started with the Orion Festival that they did back in the day. They have these giant cubes that like turn and move, and they can do all sorts of lighting like on the fly. Each show can be different, and they're really innovative themselves on that, which has added to the experience. If not a great experience, has made it an unbelievable experience of a lifetime. If you go to one concert, make it be Metallica. I'll leave you with that. With the last album, most recent, Hardwired to Self-Destruct, such an amazing through and through album. The two recent, so Death Magnetic and Hardwired to Self-Destruct, were both 2-disc rather than 2 sides. That, you know, like you kind of back in the day you'd have, depending on, you know, side A and side B, you know, for like vinyl and whatnot. But this continued on with that, and this was such a hard-hitting album. I absolutely loved it, and I made sure I went to see them. Back when we went to see him at St. Louis at Busch Stadium, where the St. Louis Cardinals baseball team plays, MLB, Major League Baseball, it was $150 for ground floor seats. Well, seats. It was standing room only. I think in the end it was actually $175 with like the Ticketmaster charge and all that. Totally worth it. And they're like, hey, as long as you've got a ticket, you can enter this. Otherwise, if you don't have a ticket and you fail to go, you can never win again. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. So I applied for it. There, I didn't see, if I scroll down below, it'd be that plus. So it'd be pit tickets plus meet and greet. I didn't see that, but I probably wouldn't have won, to be honest. But I won the pit tickets, and I was unbelievable. I like kept rereading this message for like 10 or 20 minutes because I wanted to make sure this wasn't a fake, you know, like a phishing email. And I just lost my mind. I showed my fiance, well, she was my girlfriend at the time, trips to Hawaii. It was like a year or 2 after when I actually proposed. But I was just like blown away, and she's like, you deserve it, that's awesome, you're one of their biggest fans. I love it. This album rocks. It's definitely top 4. It's S. I really couldn't pick a song that didn't deserve to be on it. And I'll do and to kind of explain how I kind of rank things is, did I enjoy it? Was it a good actual musical album? You know, did the songs, you know, how did they relate the theme of it all and everything? And then, you know, how likely am I to replay this? The top 4 I replay all the time. Death Magnetic, technically, I replay a little bit more than Kill 'Em All. Actually, I think it's like this. That's how I rank it. But yeah, because, like, so easy. Yeah, so I've listened to every album. Doy. I don't know why this is like that. So albums are up here. Never listened. I've listened to them all. C, there's no C. B, we have Saint Anger, Load, and Reload. Again, Load and Reload could swap places, but from what I was thinking of albums I've remembered, are there. A rank, we have Ride the Lightning, Kill Them All, Metallica's Garage Inc. Garage Inc. Days Revisited is also up there with that same spot because it's, you know, they're both great. And then the highest A rank is Metallica Death Magnetic. Then in S tier, so Death Magnetic is number 5, but then S tier, rank 4, we have Metallica Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Metallica, self-titled, number 3. And Justice for All by Metallica, number 2. And number 1, without a doubt, Master of Puppets. Unbelievably super great. That has been my tier ranking for Metallica's 11 studio albums plus the cover, potato. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe below. There's also a playlist with all these other TierMaker rank lists, from Pixar movies to cinematic universe of Marvel TV shows and movies, and a bunch of other stuff. Take a look. Let me know what you think. And yeah, tell me, comment below, what is your favorite Metallica album? I'm going to leave you here with this list, but until next time, rock on and listen to some Metallica. Horns up.